Hello everybody, welcome back to the James Lawrence Allcott channel. I hope you guys are all doing very, very well. The sun is shining, and I tell you what, the sun is shining for Steven Gerrard at the moment, and that's what this video is going to be about. I know I've done a lot of in-depth videos about different bits and pieces, but I really want to get back to doing quick ones. Just a quickie. Me and you having a quickie. What is the problem with that? God. But I want to talk about Steven Gerrard because I was on Twitter and I saw that Joachim Low is going to stand down as the manager of Germany after the summer, after that major tournament, Euro 2020, in 2021, of course. And of course, the wheels start turning. Steven Gerrard, who's been trending over the last weekend because of that incredible achievement at Rangers, winning, stopping the 10th title for Celtic and winning the title for Rangers, finally, after all his hard work. And people start talking about Steven Gerrard taking the job. And I was like, what's that? And then I saw that Jurgen Klopp was getting linked with the Germany job. So in this video, I just kind of want to talk about Steven Gerrard and his situation and how you guys are feeling about it. Because I would imagine, and Liverpool fans, let me know, do you have a kind of element of trepidation with Steven Gerrard? Because when he goes, for me, I would imagine that there's a feeling that this has to work. This really needs to work because not Stevie, not our Stevie. Maybe there's kind of links with the Kenny Dalglish thing where he might be able to kind of move on if it doesn't work. But you've got a Liverpool side there right now that is struggling to a level that we've never seen before, really. You know, in comparison to even the worst teams, they weren't losing 6 games at home at Anfield. And so obviously this kind of lazy narrative is there to be had in terms of Klopp, are you going to go and take that job? Yep. Okay, well then Gerrard can take this because he's shit hot at the moment. And actually they both signed contracts, both saying that they were going to sign for their clubs, Rangers and Liverpool, up to 2024, which makes you wonder if some conversations have been had. And to be honest, I think Jurgen Klopp would be welcoming to those kind of conversations, as would Steven Gerrard. And it is the obvious destination that he's going to end up at. But I previously said that I don't think the next job for him should be Liverpool. I think the next job for him should be Leeds United. I think that would be a really good job for him. Somewhere where there's not the same expectations in terms of, right, you've got to go and win titles, especially, and not coming off the back of what Jurgen Klopp has achieved, which at this moment in time, people are going, he's shit. But of course, he's not shit. He's got so much credit in the bank. And when all those players come back, Liverpool will be a strong club once again. But at the same time, the evolution of that club and the players within that club, that's not going to last forever either, right? You know, Firmino's going to be moved on. The front three will be moved on at some stage, right? Or at least parts of it. You know, Henderson's not going to last forever. Milner's not going to be there forever. There's going to be a lot of these changes because teams have to evolve. You've seen that with Man City. You've seen that with Man United. You've seen it with a million different teams. But you've also seen big-time managers move on, and then the next guy, you don't really want to be the next guy because it's difficult, I think. And I'm sure there's some psychology in that, and that's something, obviously, I'm sure we could dive into down the road. But for now, in a quick chat between me and you, do you think Steven Gerrard's next destination is Liverpool? And if so, when do you think that will be? Because does Steven Gerrard, let's predict the future. It's a bit of fun, isn't it? We're just having a chat. If you predict in the future, there's an idea that Klopp figures this out. You know, he gets to the end of the season. Obviously, he's going to get to the season as a manager, but you know, he's going to be there for the next season, and he's not going to get the sack. And Gerrard, he's going to be at Rangers for the next season as well. And they're going to look to double that up. But what we don't know right now is that the situations that these two managers are in right now, is that going to be the situation that they're both in next season? Because Celtic will bounce back and they will, you know, get a good manager and they will have a new energy and a new impetus. And like we've seen with Liverpool, the ability to hold on to a championship, to defend a championship is very different. It takes very different energy and it's hard to do. So can Gerrard do that? And if it does start to falter a little bit at Rangers, and look, Rangers fans will be watching this and going, all right, mate, give us a second. We haven't even, we barely won the title. And I get it, and I totally understand. But I'm just intrigued to know what people would think about this in terms of what is the right time for Steven Gerrard to retain the momentum that he's got right now, but to move into that Liverpool job and hit the ground running? Or is it just going to be a situation where Gerrard is the guy to replace Klopp, and when that happens, regardless of how well the next year or so goes, and look, let's talk about Rangers for a second. The players that he's brought in, the sort of hunger that he's instilled in that team, the smart moves in terms of the leadership of the team. You've got Tavernier there, Goldson, Davis still there as well. Morella's had his ups and downs, but has always scored goals for the team. Experiencing Defoe as well. But then players like Ryan Kent coming through, who's been probably the player of the season, probably the player of the whole division. The home form, it's unbelievable what Rangers have done. But they've had the bit between their teeth. And so things will change. And so the big question I'm having here is, when is the right time for Steven Gerrard to become the Liverpool manager? Is it exactly what they've got set in stone at the moment, which is in 3 years' time, in 2024, where Jurgen Klopp gets to kind of reinvent this club and maybe sort of move on when the club is in a really good, sound foundation, which it is right now. But of course, the form and the final standing where they might not even get in the Champions League is a big problem for them, right? So what is the answer? I think I've seen football for so long that I'm like, is he going to be there for another 3 years? Is he going to lose momentum in that? What is the ceiling for this Rangers team? Not in terms of their history, and the money that they've got to spend, because that's what Rangers have done brilliantly. They've backed him. But is he going to get a little bit, not flabby, but is he going to get is he going to lose that momentum at Rangers? You don't know. Of course you don't know. But what I'm excited by the managerial squad, almost the backroom staff that Gerrard has at Rangers. Him, Gary McAllister, Michael Beale, a lot of talk about him recently and his ability to coach and how fantastic he is as a coach and how Gerrard lets him go and do that. And I think the biggest thing with all these things, there's a lot of clues here that, of course, Gerrard, I think, he would be open to the fact that, look, he's going to want to manage Liverpool. But all these little clues together, for me, makes me think that if Klopp can make it to 2024, that's when it happens. Because Michael Beale was a coach at Liverpool. That's how Steven Gerrard knows him when he was the coach of the under-18s. Gary McAllister, of course, knows what it's like to be at Liverpool and the pressures that come with that. And, of course, Steven Gerrard is Liverpool, right? So I'm just intrigued, is this all going to work out? Because it feels incredibly framed towards a pathway that sees Steven Gerrard take charge of Liverpool from Jurgen Klopp in 2024. But what will the state of that squad be? I just find it fascinating because what's going to happen, I think, is, and what I'm saying, I think what I'm really saying here is, Liverpool fans, you're going to have to gear yourself up for some sort of an awkward transition here. Because as much as you're trying to put it in place, and I get what Liverpool are trying to do there, you can't cherry pick it. And history suggests that making that move from one guy to another guy is very, very difficult. And it takes one or two to get it set in stone. So there'll have to be so much patience. And using that Lampard comparison once again, Liverpool is not Chelsea. Liverpool is a very different club. And in a cutthroat nature, if you pick up Liverpool and turn them, give them a different owner, Roy Evans gets the sack a lot quicker. Gerard Houllier gets the sack a lot quicker. Benitez probably gets the sack a lot quicker. I mean, Hodgson probably doesn't even get the job, to be fair to him, right? Brendan Rodgers may be the same kind of thing. So for Gerrard, I think it's just interesting how football evolves. And, 3 years ago, Rangers were staring down the barrel of Celtic winning 10 in a row and the consequences that come with that. He's been brilliant and been able to turn that around and it's come from the high standards that he sets. And I do think there is that clear imprint now. There is that new generation of manager. The Lampards, I think you can still put in there. Thierry Henry wanting to get involved, but I guess more importantly, someone like a Scott Parker, someone who had a great mix of being a leader on the pitch, but the intelligence and emotional intelligence to do what's needed off it as well and to set the standards for a squad. And so Gerrard is on course for being an unbelievable manager. He's already there, to be honest. But time is not a healer for managers. Time is a revealer of weaknesses and failures and sticks to beat you with. And so for Steven Gerrard, what's going to be the new big test for him is how he navigates the next 3 years. Because the way he's evolved the formation of Rangers and that 4-3-3 that he used in Europe and to amazing effect, because I think that's where you should really kind of judge him, because of course that, you know, Rangers are expected to dominate the league, and it is between those two, it always is, right? But in the Europa League, the teams that they beat, it's been unbelievable, and that's down to good coaching, good management, good man management, good recruitment, because Rangers have been backed. But the next 3 years, he's got a lot to navigate. So here's the big question that I want to know. Let me know in the comments below. If you are Steven Gerrard, the next time the Liverpool job becomes available, do you take it? Or if between now and 2024 that job becomes available, say in the next 18 months, because this Jurgen Klopp thing continues, and it's just a case of, look, we just need to call this a day. Again, would you take the job if you were Steven Gerrard? Let me know. Just a quick conversation. It popped into my head. I thought we'd have a chat about it, nice and loose. That's what she said. Didn't want to finish the video like that. Let yourself down there. Fucking hell, James. If you enjoyed this content, then please do consider both liking the video itself and, of course, subscribing to the channel. We're at 88k now. Next up is 90k. I need you guys to be there with me, guys. We're aiming for 100k. It can only happen if you hit the subscribe button, so do consider doing that. And I'll see you in the next one.